So I have a really cool video for you guys today. About 4 years ago when I bought this house and I got this studio, my number one goal was to just get this room soundproofed. I wanted to play drums at 3 in the morning and not wake up my neighbors. But it's really expensive to do that, and I blew most of my budget on this studio build just making the room as quiet as possible from the outside. And it is really quiet. I can play drums at 3 in the morning now, and it's awesome. But I didn't budget a dime for sound treatment. And the difference between soundproofing a room and sound treating a room is huge. Soundproofing is about keeping the sound from escaping, and that's it. But sound treating is about improving the quality of sound inside of the room that you're recording in. Now, my old studio, like the old studio, that had concrete, like cinder block walls and a concrete floor and really high arched ceilings. So that room just sounded like a warehouse all the time. And I got kind of good at mixing inside of that environment. So when I came here and I had normal drywall and just a concrete floor, that was a huge improvement for me. So I thought, man, this is actually a better sounding room than what I'm used to. That was until I talked to my buddy Mitch from Audimute. So Audimute and Mitch, they've done installs in so many famous professional drummer studios like Aaron Spears, Kaz Rodriguez, Thomas Lang, Juan Carlito Mendoza, the Drumeo headquarters, like you name it, and Audimute and Mitch has probably been there and done their thing to make their studios look beautiful and sound much better. And so finally it was my turn. So when Mitch came in to town a few months ago, he checked out the studio, and while he was totally impressed with the drums and cameras and microphones, he told me right off the bat, dude, your room sounds horrible, like really, really bad. And that was because I had done no real sound treatment at all. I had bought some Amazon foam panels, those 5 that had been behind my kit for years up on the wall. I had a few more panels just like that up on the ceiling, and then I bought this little corner strip of foam, also off Amazon, and I put that all around the room. But collectively, that stuff didn't really do anything. The room still sounded really reverby and just too live and clangy. So Mitch and I have developed a plan for this room. We are treating 2 walls top to bottom, and then we have a 3rd wall that we have this geometric sort of shape idea. I don't know exactly what things are gonna look like yet, but I have a feeling it's gonna be sick based off of everything I've seen from Mitch and Audimute. So Mitch has an 18-wheeler that's gonna be in my driveway tomorrow, so we're gonna go unload that thing, get all the materials in, and then the following day Mitch is here and we will start a really cool install. By the end of this video, I'm gonna give you a really good A/B comparison so you can hear what it sounded like before Mitch and Audimute came and did their thing, and then after. All right, let's get into it. Now, Mitch describes the installation of Audimute products as closer to arts and crafts than construction. So we started out by putting double-sided tape on the walls and then added some Loctite glue. This rocky-looking material is called strata, and it has to be built up like bricks. We had to make tons of custom cuts to fit this material in between my wooden frames behind the drum set, but this wall was done in about 5 hours. I noticed is how out of tune my kit is. Like, it did not sound that out of tune, like, 48 hours ago. I didn't really play it that much until then, and now it's just, like, dramatically out of tune. Like, I can hear extra things. In more of a behind-the-scenes way, you know, walk people through what exactly we did in this room, you know?
From an acoustic standpoint, I needed to have certain characteristics present in certain places. And we didn't want to go too far from what your visual was in the past.
Sure. Didn't want a dramatic color change or anything.
Exactly. And then gave it a little bit of that Audimute flair in a very cool, contemporary, unique way, and certainly on trend is the stack stone look with what Strata Textured brings. So I knew right away that was going to be so cool, so workable. Look at this great wall over here.
For sure. And it really does strike the eye as brick. You walk in and it looks like a stone, or not necessarily brick in that shape, but like stacked stone pavers with rough cut edges is what it looks like.
It looks like a chipped stone kind of thing. Chipped concrete. So it's a really cool thing. And then over to the right, I knew you had this blank wall, which was obviously a huge point of return in the space. There was such low hanging fruit to swing in here and make it great. Sure. And then I knew, stage left over there, put in a really cool kind of, I guess I call them Mitch Acoustics, geometric kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we've got a kind of a low frequency diffuser over there, dealing with mids. And it was just, kind of a neat look that gave you another usable wall in your space.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so excited to film against it too. I've never even considered it.
People are going to go.
There was nothing there.
People are going to go, wow.
right, so you guys have seen plenty of the behind the scenes stuff, and now I want to take you through each of the 3 walls that we did and just show you how everything turned out. So behind me is the main wall. It's the most visible wall of the studio. It's the one that's filmed the most often, and it's the closest to the drum set, so it needed to be completely covered to really treat this room correctly. So from floor to ceiling, we have this thing covered in strata. Now, strata is this material that is like a paper composite material, and it ranges from, you know, maybe 2 inches in depth all the way out to like 4 inches in depth. And as you saw in the video, we stack these like bricks or like pavers all the way from the floor up to the ceiling. Now, we had to do a lot of small cuts because of these columns that fall in between these panels that are behind me. So we had to cut everything out to fit in between those columns. That was a little time consuming, but we got the entire wall done in just a few hours. And then we had these 5 blank spots that are behind me. Now, what I love the most about these panels behind me is that I have options. These are just compression fit into the wall, meaning they're not glued or nailed or stapled. They just pop out, and then you pop new ones right in. So I can reverse these, and there's another image on the back of them. And then I have an entire backup set of panels that I can use. Those are also reversible. So I have these 4 options available at all times, and if for some reason I was filming a video with, let's just say, a lime green drum set, something that, you know, is really specific and unique, I can call Mitch from Audimute and order a set of lime green, you know, panels to actually match whatever it is that I'm playing. Really, really cool to have that sort of aesthetic flexibility in the studio, especially when you film all sorts of different content. So this wall is one of my favorites. I did this almost entirely by myself.